Hey everyone, welcome to Shearants for Horror and Supreme. We're back doing the Hellraiser movies again, continuing from 5 till I don't even remember how many there are. So, yeah, welcome back, Cameron and Collin.
That would be 11, just so you know.
Yeah, I can't believe you're having us back. You want us to talk about more jizz?
Sorry?
That's the thing. I feel like, before we get started with the rest of the films, I feel like that's the thing that we're really missing in the Hellraiser movies. There's not a whole lot of spunk.
Yeah, they kind of left it out. It's like, what were we doing? That was what glued it all together.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, go over and start with Broke Up Again. Oh my word. I can't believe you come back for a second time for this.
Yeah, alright, so Hellraiser Inferno.
Number
really
5, where it went strange.
Yeah, it's hard because I like this movie because the idea of what it is and taking it outside of the realm of just like the traditional Hellraiser movie.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's almost too off key that it's doesn't quite fit.
That's basically the rest of the movies, though. So.
Yeah. No, it definitely sets up the rest of the franchise.
This is the pattern going forward, and it's painful.
Not as painful as Hell was, but yeah. So this
we'll get there. Yes.
This film was made in the budget of $2 million, and I have no idea how much it made because it went straight to VOD. So, yeah, probably made a bit because it's a Hellraiser movie, but
yeah, this was directed by Scott Derrickson. I suppose it's worth putting that in because this is he's a particular style as well. If you've seen the Insidious series or Sinister, Sinister. And he's part of the reason one of the Capes and Cloaks movies went a bit wrong because he started off with his vision, then Raimi took over and then tried to impose his vision on top of it, and it got a bit squirrely apparently. Not that I watched it, but I just heard some of the stuff in the background. It's like, what an interesting mix of people. So this is definitely a Derrickson movie. You can see his tone throughout it.
You can see the kind of like even in 7, it has the kind of not in 7 in Sinister, it has the kind of influence from 7, which this very much does have in the like detective aspect. The like walks in on all the bodies, they're covered in like blood and gore and all of that, and like the amount of people that it kills. How like you have a specific amount, like in 7 you have 7, in this one you have 10 for all the hand, not for all the fingers on the hand. I was about to say all the hands on the finger for a second.
I do it all the time. I trip over my words. I'm like, blip, 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 blip. Just go with it,
Yeah, but I found this one quite good. Besides from the Hellraiser aspects of the movie.
Yeah, no, this is definitely like a $5 bargain bin DVD pickup that you go home and you go, wow, this is actually pretty good. Except the fact that it's within the Hellraiser universe.
Like, this could have been Supernatural 7. You know what I mean? This could have been a detective movie with a supernatural slant. Didn't have to be Hellraiser. But this happens all the time in Hollywood. There's people submit scripts on a daily basis. And what they do is they'll take a script for a story. They'll pay the writer pennies. And then they'll shoehorn it into a franchise. Biggest culprit for that is Jar Jar Abrams with the Cloverfield. He did that with Cloverfield, the sequels. They just pay off somebody. Oh, here, have a token, have a McDonald's token. Well done. You're in Hollywood now, and they'll get the tiniest credits. And then some bigger director will go, somebody's already written a story for me. I'll shoehorn it into my franchise. This is what basically happens with the rest of these movies. That's
absolutely.
Sad.
Yeah, I mean, you can very much see this was not supposed to be a Hellraiser movie at all. It just doesn't even feel like a Hellraiser movie. It feels, as you said, Supernatural 7. Like, even with the kills in the movie, they don't seem Hellraiser-esque, besides from maybe the first one, because that was with hooks. But besides from that, there weren't really any, like, actual hook kills.
Yeah, and it was interesting having Craig Schaefer back for this one.
Yeah, having him in another Barker property, that was fun. That's immediately what made me go, okay, I'm on board with this.
Yeah, but
that's he was in Nightbreed for those that don't maybe.
Yeah, if people don't know what Nightbreed is and don't understand the reference, and for shame, your parents did you wrong.
Yeah, but you're a Scream fan. You don't know anything about horror anyway, so.
No, that's not true. Scream fans know all the tropes. They just don't know good stuff.
I was always going to get that one in there. Because I'm sick and tired of having Scream fans pile on in the internet. So it's
man, yeah, I fucking hate Scream. Like, good for you. You like something, that's awesome. There's a lot of things I like that aren't good, but
calm down.
I just have to say, I don't only watch Scream movies just because I have the mask there. Doesn't mean I don't even like the latest two. The latest two, in my opinion, are utter garbage. But I've watched other movies than Scream. I watched every big release that came out last year, including all the horror.
He'll say that now he gets one of his Scream buddies in, and they're like, "Oh, the non-Scream fans are shitheads." Anyway, back to Hellraiser.
Yeah.
You asked us back. Your fault. You asked us back. You had a chance to just go. We'll just cover the first 4 movies. You invited us back, so that's your fault.
All right. Yeah. Yes, it would have been better if it wasn't a Hellraiser movie, but I did like a lot of the kills in it. Such as I enjoyed the kills in the first Scream movie in the opening scene where they got Casey Becker, but like.
Well, and see, with that, it depends on which cut you watch as to whether it's actually cool or not. Because it's like, that's the thing a lot of people seem to forget with the Scream, like the initial Scream. There's a few different versions of that.
Yeah.
But
Collin, keep drinking the tea so you don't just constantly insult Scream. keep drinking the tea, but yes. So, yeah, I think the main issue that I had with this movie was just the ending. I didn't understand what the hell was going on. Like, was he the murderer, the engineer gang dude, or was I didn't get it at all.
Yeah. Unlike what was it? Judgment or Revelations?
Revelations.
No, Revelations.
No. So unlike Judgment, that's what I was thinking of. Unlike Judgment, the ending doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
Was this because he committed suicide? Is like are they bringing it into this sort of Catholic thing of purgatory and suicide being a sin, that kind of thing? That's what I'm saying. They just rely on the lazy tropes of like religion and the Miss Universe. I think that's what it was. He's being punished because he killed himself.
See, and that would make sense. That would make perfect sense. Yeah. I didn't see that at all.
And this is where it devolves from Hellraiser completely. And then they're basically making the Cenobites just demons. And I love demons. Demons are my favorite monster because they're clever.
Yeah.
But Cenobites weren't typical demons. That was the whole point of them. They were a complete order of their own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they were on even in hell, they weren't understood. That was the mystery of them.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie just, and this is just the start of it. Oh, God. Yeah. It was just a non-movie, in Hellraiser terms.
Mm-hmm.
It was a non-movie. It was a non-entity. It was such a shame because when we go on to the next one, we'll get more of an explanation of why these things can happen, but we'll get no explanation of this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's why it's just a script that was already written, shoehorned in with a sprinkling of Cenobites, and that's it. There's not really much to talk about. It's a serial killer movie with a weird ending.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, there's not really anything to talk about. So let's go on to the next one, which is Hellseeker. I actually really like this one as well, just because it brought what's her name?
Ashley Lawrence.
Yeah, Ashley Lawrence. Kirsty.
Kirsty,
yeah.
I was going to say Kira, and then I'm like, no, her name is not Kira. Stop, don't say Kira.
Yeah. I mean, that's that's the one thing to like about this movie, but I like honestly going over the notes, it's like, fuck, I barely remember this one. And I just watched this. Like, I remember the guy's a cunt. That was about it. The only thing I think off the top of my head.
I'm gonna get the return to her encounter with the Cenobites again.
Yeah.
It's an odd movie.
Mm-hmm. It really is, because it made. I didn't understand the ending of this one either, because it was just sort of, he was the one who died, even though throughout the entire movie it was saying Kirsty was the one who died.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was just very confused and just sort of sat there for about 15 minutes contemplating why I just watched, because I had no idea what was happening.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like, that's the whole premise. Like, that's why the cops are involved, because, you know, she went missing. They found the car, but not the body. And it's like, that doesn't make any sense. If he's the one that died, like, why? I mean, I guess this is purgatory, but it's a Hellraiser movie, so why would it be set in purgatory, not hell? But
yeah, it's the only thing that makes sense is when I watched the Lucifer series of the idea of the hell loop with Tom Ellis. It's actually a fun series, apart from the last like 2 episodes where they went completely. Sorry,
I've seen it about twice, just because I guess that's why I kind of enjoyed this, because they have very similar themes of like pain and pleasure and hell and stuff shoved together.
Yep. So I was watching it again. As I watching the first time, I'm just like, what the hell is this? Mm-hmm. When you watch again, you've got other movies or series like the idea of the hell loop. So even for Inferno and this, it's them stuck in a hell loop. But then that's not what the Cenobites are about. So it's went a completely different thing. So it's basically what do you call him? Trevor Gooden. He's stuck in the hell loop because he died, and then what it is he gets it revealed in the end, then he goes back, loses his memory, and then starts the whole process all over again.
That makes a lot of sense now that I think about it. Yeah.
So it's a concept of being stuck in a hell loop. Same with Inferno. That's supposed to be his thing. He's stuck in the hell loop, and then he gets to the point of realization why he's there. Then he goes right back to the start and has to figure it out all over again and go through the torment. But in both the movies, this one's more explained than Inferno. Inferno, there's no explanation why he's in it, what he did, apart from shag a prostitute. You know, that's all he did, really.
Yeah.
But this one, we get that Gooden has, I don't know whether he researched it beforehand or he just found out when he's with her, but Kirsty's an heiress. And he's a bit of a idiot. You know, he's one of these fly-by-night type characters, can't hold down a job, always got this get-rich-quick scheme, and you can give him all in the world and he blow through it in a month. You know, one of them types, you can't, they're broken inside their head, so you can never give them enough.
Yeah.
So there's a bit more of an explanation. That's why I liked Hellseeker better than Inferno, because at least this one makes a bit more sense of his motivations. He's just one of them broken characters. You could give him all in the world and it still wouldn't be enough because he just is unhappy inside. So even when he's married to Kirsty, who he'll have the benefits of her money anyway, it's still not enough, and he plots to kill her. Like, going to that extreme, there's something wrong with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, didn't he only want to kill her because she had a trust fund inheritance thing?
Yeah, inheritance, the house, the money from both Frank and Larry. You know, the whole family. You know what I mean? She's the last living of the Cottons. You know, the last living person of the Cotton family. So she had all that money, that quite a bit of resources built up. That's the storyline anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even then, he's living in the lap of luxury. She's, you know, indulging him, and it's still not enough. So that's where this plot comes in. You know, and he's shagging all around him.
The thing which didn't make much sense to me in this movie is when it's all revealed at the end. You know, Saw style, everything's revealed all at once, and you understand everything. It shows that Kirsty tried to shoot him, but then I'm pretty sure that she does shoot a shot out of the gun, but then the police never bring that up, even though if she did, he would either have a gunshot wound or there would be a bullet hole in the car somewhere.
No, she did. She said he shot himself in the car.
Oh, I don't
So
remember.
she said out of the blue, he shot himself.
Mm-hmm.
So she shot him. They crashed into the water, and then when she comes out, he just shot himself, and then she had stitched him up for all the murders.
Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah, that makes much more sense now.
Do you know what? When you binge these, it's hard to, because
it is very hard to keep it together. Yeah.
One blends into the other, and it's it's
well, it's easy to miss shit too, because a lot of these, I mean, it's blink and you missed what the fuck all just happened. So yeah. I can understand that.
All right, well, just so that we can get to it before Cameron goes, let's go on to Collin's favorite Hellraiser movie, Hellworld.
Is Dead or not next?
We're not. Yeah, we're gonna skip.
We're going to skip like the close contender.
I forgot Dead. I scrolled past it. Not that matters. It's
yeah, Deader. Worst one in my opinion.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about Deader for a little bit then. So
goofy as hell.
Deader was made in the budget of $2 million, and in my opinion, and in the internet's opinion, apparently it grossed nothing. So makes sense. But
another one of those straight to DVD release examples of why you don't do this.
I didn't understand the whole cult people thing, like they turn into zombies after they die. It made no sense.
Well, the fact that there's a whole tube train that just operates on the lines, it's basically a sex wagon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that just happens in France. They just have like this. All right, no, this it comes up in the station. Oh, sex wagon coming past. You only get on this if you're gonna like rumpy dumpy for an hour and a half. It's weird. They're trying to couldn't think of anything to compare. Yeah, a bit like John Wick. Where there's like a universe within a universe. This underbelly. They're trying to bring that in, but they just do it so ham-fisted that it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Well, and then to reveal at the end that they were all dead anyways. It's like that makes no fucking sense. This is stupid.
Yeah, I didn't like it at all. I think they brought back the weird pervy character again with like the reporter's boss. It's so obvious he just wants to get with her. That's why he's giving her like the mediocre jobs, just so that she goes to him and does something with him to get a better job. I can just imagine him doing something like that.
This is one of the first examples of the attempt to create the girl boss.
Yeah.
With Amy Klein. And there's a reason why it doesn't work and why there's so many better. I believe this trope is disingenuous to women. I actually think it's quite insulting when they decide to create this type of character, because we've seen it now reach its zenith. And, and yeah, sorry, Jennifer Lawrence, but there's somebody worse than you that appeared before you. You're not the first even in that fucking category. Yeah, this is an attempt to create the girl boss, the angsty chick, the, blah, blah, blah. And you just get a wooden plank of a character that you can't relate with. And if you can't relate with the protagonist in a horror movie, then you don't get any... you don't care if they're in peril. You don't care what's going to happen to them. You just kind of want them to hurry up and get on with it. And that's the worst thing you can do.
Well, I feel like... to play the other side, like at this point in time, this is the 7th fucking movie in a franchise. The franchise shit, you don't give a fuck about anybody. You're just in it to see the kills and the gore, and that's really the only thing you get with this.
But Hellraiser isn't a slasher movie. If this was a slasher movie, a slasher franchise, yes, I would understand that. But it's not, and this is where they've pissed all over it.
Well, and that's
part of so much more, and has so many interesting themes they explore that would take a movie each, and they just didn't bother. They just
well, that's the thing. Like from 4 on, they can't hold down a solid through line. So it's just each one. It's you know what? Fuck it. Let's try this out. And sometimes it works. Sometimes Deader's released, and that's the problem. Because like if it would stick with just a like, I mean, I hate the idea of cookie cutter movies because, I mean, that's all like we get nowadays with major motion pictures. But to a certain extent, like if you're going to have a franchise, it should stay within a certain set of parameters. And that's their biggest like failure is they don't. They're so different. Like there's a way to keep it different, but still the same, like, you know, different protagonists, different settings, but they're just completely rewriting it each time they do one, and it doesn't carry through with each film. And that's like one of the biggest problems they have.
Yeah, and it's painful to watch because you know, with a bit of care, just love of the franchise, you can create so much better.
Mm-hmm.
This was just it was a dud. It was just I didn't even hate it. It was just like a, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're doing that now. It was just a pure apathetic towards it.
All right, well, since I completely forgot about this movie, let's now just forget about it.
And we'll forget about it again.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I almost feel like they kind of meant for that to happen because, I mean, fuck, we got 2 Hellraisers in a year. Like these were both like Deader and Hellworld were both released in 2005,
and neither of them were the best. So
they're going for the wooden spoon. Both are competing for the names maybe. So this one, Deader was close. Like Deader's right there. It's just because it's so forgettable. Hellraiser Hellworld. It's my least favorite one because they tried to do something and they were so terrible that they just undid everything. They weren't even trying with Deader, so you can kind of go, nah, yeah, they just shot that one out. This one, they were trying to go, we're going to do an exciting movie that's meta and in the current scene, and we're going to involve the internet. And yeah.
Dude, that's the shit. Like, I hate it when movies date themselves that way to be like, wow, this is a great new thing. This is culturally relevant right now.
Yeah, and then
it never lasts. Never lasts.
Well, Hellraiser Hellworld, once again, this was actually made on $1 million more than Deader. This was made on $3 million.
That was Lance Henriksen budget.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was
that extra million was to get him on board.
That's 100% what it was. And you know what? All the better for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in this one, but isn't this is Doug Bradley's last Hellraiser movie, isn't it?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is the one before it basically, because I never want to watch any after this one, basically. But, this one's the 8th one, and it's worse than like the last one. It just gets so worse. So it's an MMORPG, which they get invited to a party for by some random dude who isn't actually. He says he's an enthusiast of the game, but then how is he sending invites inside of the game by them completing something inside of the game?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make much sense.
You could explain that with today's technology. The technology back then made no sense.
No.
Yeah.
It's not possible.
Well, I mean,
we're talking about dial-up internet.
You've actually finished the game, you got the invite. But if you didn't finish the game, you didn't.
Yeah, but like he said that he's an enthusiast of the game. He didn't say he was the creator of the game or that he had anything to do with the game. So,
well, you have people, like I'll use the brown coats from Firefly. They're enthusiasts. They don't create the franchise, but they create events and hold them and cons, and that's always been a thing. So I can get that. What I don't get is why they didn't understand who the minute they saw him, how did they not know it was what's his face's father? And by the way, I don't remember any of the characters' names in this because I really don't care.
His name was not Andy or Andrew. It starts with an A though.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter because these characters are so generic. Alec, yeah. These characters are so generic. And what was it I texted you at the time? Because they're using that horrible 90s language, like movie language. And I'm just like, do people actually say that in your country? It's like, this is so rad. That was it. This is so rad. And I'm just like, oh, fucking just kill me now. Like, I think this is one of the moments, Shay, I'm sorry, I said I hated your guts. Like, I had instant hatred for you the minute that line came out. I'm just like, fuck you, Shay, you're making me watch this. I hate you.
Yeah, it was, and I quote, "That is totally rad." Did people actually speak like that? And the answer is no. People never actually.
I just died at once, and there was lots of that, but that particular line, I just died a little inside.
And that's again, that was the biggest fault with this movie. I feel is trying to keep it culturally relevant at the time when really none of that was current. Like it was. Like I've been a gamer since I was a fucking kid, like playing the Nintendo in the 80s. Like this is about a decade too late with gaming culture and cultural vernacular. Like it was just like, what the fuck? Like this is I started my career in 2005, and it's like I remember that year quite vividly. None of this was relevant
God,
in 2005.
I'd already had a bloody tour of a record on my belt at that point. Holy shit!
Yeah, it's like you think back to what 2005 was. It's like this isn't what 2005 was.
Yeah, well, this movie is basically just like a bunch of dumb 2000s characters just being murdered. Like this is what I think of when I watch like the Friday the 13th remake. Those kind of characters, just douchebags you could not get any emotional attachment to, just dying. That's all I see in this movie.
Yeah, like none of them you give a fuck about whether they live or die. And it kind of ruins the ending when What's Her Bucket lives, because it's like you don't care that she lived. She was fucking annoying to begin with. She shouldn't have been there to begin with.
Yeah, the main character, wasn't it, Chelsea, she didn't even want to go to the party. She only went because, I don't know, maybe she was still into Henry Cavill. I can understand why, but like, you're the one who kicked him out of your house and said, we're not going to a Hellworld party. And then she immediately goes to a Hellworld party.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just what I'm contrived. Like I said, the reason this is the bottom of the list and not there is because they were trying to do something with this, and it was so badly, horribly done that it insulted me.
Yeah,
this movie insults me for existing.
It's pretty stupid. I still don't think it's the worst out of all of them, but I agree it's fucking
Debtor's
stupid.
right up. I mean, Debtor's right there. It's a hard choice, but because Debtor's so forgettable, this annoys me to this day. This actually makes me cringe. Where Debtor, I just sort of went, okay, this is happening, that, and I just sort of, slept walking my way through it. This just irritates me.
That's fair.
Yeah, Collin, your soul was actually torn apart by Pinhead.
Yeah, my soul was torn apart. They had such sights to show me.
You just lost any enjoyment after this movie.
Yeah, I'm prepared to climb out of a mattress into a puddle of spunk.
To
get away from this
every
movie.
morning.
If that was my eternal torment, I'd be
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's Revelations.
I don't get the movie. It's like
this could have been a great movie.
It really could have been.
So frustrating. This one. This was actually the better of the latter sequels. Apart from Fat Pinhead.
Yeah, Fat Pinhead I didn't really understand. It was just like, could they not like get anyone who looks slightly like Doug Bradley? Like at least the guy who plays him in Judgment looks kind of like him. In this one, he looks nothing alike. He doesn't even sound alike. He looks more like Pinhead if he had a baby face. But
see, it's funny because changing the character, like changing the actor, doesn't necessarily bother me. But the voice, if the voice isn't the same, that fucks me up. And they didn't even try to make it the same. Like it was so egregiously off that it was just like, oh.
This is like a fan film.
Yeah, that's exactly. That was one of my notes for this. Was this feels like it was a fan film because it was essentially one location with a couple scenes in different places, so it could have been shot super cheap. And you know, the main antagonist is almost there, but not quite. So yeah, it definitely feels like that.
The main antagonist seems like, what was his name? It was
Steven, or is it Nico? Nico's the shithead in this.
Yeah, like it's as if they were trying to kind of make that Frank-like character in Nico, because like even Nico is kind of incesty. Like he tried going for his girlfriend while he was in the girlfriend's brother's body. So
and the sister was up for it. That was the
that was the real fucking
that was the most disturbing part. Not the fact that he was like, "Oh, that's my girlfriend." The fact that she's seeing her brother and she was up for it. I was like,
yeah,
okay,
like fuck yeah, that was the fucked up part. Definitely.
Yeah, but it didn't. I didn't get that part at all. And another part I didn't get was the fact that like, how did that girl which she like had in the bathroom die? Like, I don't know if I blacked out during that bit. Did she just fall and smack
it doesn't show it. That's the thing. They have it filmed. Like the camera is going, it's pointing at the stall the whole time, and it doesn't show shit. He doesn't explain shit. It's just when homeboy wakes up, oh, she's dead. Oh fuck, what do we do? Oh, we can't tell anybody. Yeah, it's like they should have shown how she died, or at least alluded to how she died.
Yeah, but all they say is that Steven thinks Nico killed her while he was blackout drunk, which like you know that could have happened, but why not at least show him killing her while he was blackout drunk?
Yeah, and I fucking hate that this is a product of its time. Like it has to start out as a fucking found footage film. I seriously almost didn't watch this because I cannot stand found footage.
Yeah, they're not my favorite, but that's because I don't really watch found footage movies. I've seen some of the Paranormal Activities because my friend, I think,
there's a rinse and repeat franchise.
Sorry?
I said there is a rinse and repeat franchise if ever there was one.
Yeah.
Do the same thing again and again and again and again. Copy paste, copy paste, copy paste.
And then, we need to make this one Hispanic, so let's make this one Hispanic.
Yeah, but this is definitely one of the more boring and unnecessary sequels to Hellraiser. Once again, was this one of those ones where it was not a Hellraiser movie and then it was shoved in? Or was it...
See, I honestly don't think this would have been good even if it wasn't Hellraiser. Like, it's a boring fucking premise. Like, it's almost like a home invasion movie with supernatural elements, which sounds awesome, but it wasn't executed properly.
Yeah, there was a premise. That's what I said is frustrating because there's the premise of a good story there, but they didn't write that one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They wrote this
they
one
might have
instead.
wrote it, but they sure as shit didn't film it.
Yeah, so there was a premise of a good idea, and then it just went the rat shit. Do you know the scene that really gets me? Was it the neighbor, the one that's up in the, they end up in the basement or something, or it all goes dark? Or is that the next one I'm thinking about?
I think you're thinking of the next one.
Where she's tied up, and then you actually see the trolley. Is it not this one? When the Cenobites are... this is where I'm getting mixed up, because they become so interchangeable at this point.
I don't even remember that.
It is, because they take... he shoots, and then he doesn't take the father, but he takes the wife.
Oh, yeah.
It is that thing, right? And she's on her knees, and they've got her chained up.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And you literally see the trolley that she's on getting pulled back.
She's on
a trolley. She's on a trolley,
honest,
right?
I think
and
at
held
this
up,
point,
and you actually,
I was already
all you had to hear was the wheels squeaking as the thing was getting pulled back. It was so badly done.
Yeah, I think I was already like half asleep.
That made me. I was the bit where I just burst out laughing, and then I just like, that was my sense, because I'm confused watching this, but that bit just made me laugh because I could just see exactly what they'd done. I was so cheap and shoddy and horrible, and I just burst out laughing. Yeah, what was that one?
Yeah. All right, so should we get on to judgment? Because I don't really have...
Moving along swiftly.
Yeah. Yeah, these you definitely don't need to take too much time on. This one, I'll say, like, this was actually pretty damn decent. Again, it's one of those things, like, it shouldn't have been a Hellraiser movie. Just a supernatural detective movie within the Clive Barker universe, because of course that totally makes sense. But yeah, the fact that it was 7 in the Hellraiser universe, but it was the detective, not a serial killer. Like, if it would have been Hellraiser, it would have been pretty damn decent.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm drawing a blank.
This is the one where it's the two brothers or detectives following
his
the
other
killer.
Clive Barker character, the supernatural.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I always forget his name. It's
Scarlet Gospels. I'm trying to remember the name. Oh god, what's the? Oh my god, my head's gone.
Hold on, I'm looking it up.
Not the Illusionist, the Master of Illusions. No.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, he's in a bunch of shit. So let's see. Harry Dumore.
Harry Dumore. Yes, Harry Dumore. Fucking hell.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's the thing.
If this would have been Dumore.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what. Sorry, I should have wrote that.
If it would have been him and his older brother, and then he has to go after his older brother, that would have been cool. It would have been weird. It wouldn't have fit with the actual character in the movies or the books, but I think it would have been.
But if they had that focus instead of a Hellraiser movie, they could have adapted it.
Mm-hmm.
All the groundwork led there, but
yeah, it's just another fine example of having an IP but not using elements of the IP to create another movie.
Yeah, well, the thing which I didn't get with this one was that they introduced a whole system with whether they kill people or not, or whether they torture them, or I don't know, whether they poison them, or whatever the hell they're going to do to them. Mm-hmm. But it makes no sense how there are angels now, even though the Cenobites were said to be demons to some, angels to others.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's this actual angel lady who just comes in and is like, no, you can't kill him. Sure, he murdered a bunch of people and did these horrific things, but like,
people are believing in God again.
The thing is, it does make sense to an extent because, yeah, I mean, if you're a failing deity and you have somebody that's killing in your name, but actually bringing people back to remembering who you are and kind of believing in you, it makes sense that you'd have one of your lackeys go down and be like, nah, man, this one's with us. It's cool. Let's leave him be.
But you can have him afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, once again, the stupid, bloodlines, this is where the shoehorned in unnecessary conflict just for the sake of having it.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate that. It pisses me off because these are supposed to be beings above this and they've debased them,
mm-hmm.
They're just your typical I'm in this team, you're in that team, that conversation which takes over everything today.
Yeah, it's so because that's the thing. Like the Cenobites were always outside of the political struggle of Abrahamic religion. Like they lean closer to the evil side, I guess, than the good side, but they're still on the outside of that, where they're like, we don't give a fuck about that. We have our own path that we're taking that doesn't have to do with either of those.
And there had 11 chances to explore that, and they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
this is the 10th chance.
Yeah, but I mean, in total, they've had 11 chances to explore it.
Yeah,
and they don't bother.
Well, on the 11th chance, it's even worse. But
I don't know. I will still defend the 11th try. But we'll get into that in a second.
Yeah.
Well, just to add this in summary of this video, what was your favorite part of Hellraiser Judgment, Colin?
Believe it or not, at the beginning, and we met the Auditor.
Yeah, that was.
I actually thought he was a great character, and once again, this is where the franchise doesn't need the Cenobite, doesn't need Pinhead.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. They've created the Auditor. You could have had the Auditor lead this, and just be another Cenobite, another agent, and maybe a quick cameo by Doug Bradley at the end would have been, just the fact that he's another priest and this is our work to doing well. Could have been that short. But they shot themselves in the foot again because they can't think outside the box. They box themselves in. They can't think outside it.
Yeah, all right.
Such a waste because the beginning of this was so intriguing. It was a new direction, and then they wasted it.
Yeah, no, I agree. That was my favorite part too. Like that whole dynamic of, the world within the world and seeing different characters. Like it was. At first, it was goofy as fuck. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then the second time that we have that happen when the detective is the one that's on trial, that's when I was like, all right, this is cool shit. Like, I mean, the oracles or whatever they were, I mean, they were unnecessary. I mean, hey, gratuitous boobs, whatever. Who can't appreciate that? But yeah, that was the aspect of this that I liked. And then the idea of the story I liked.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that was probably going to be my favorite scene as well. But I kind of find it funny that the first guy who's said to be like, was he like supposed to be like a pedophile, wasn't he?
He's a nonce, yeah.
Yeah, the guy.
He's a BBC employee.
Yeah, the guy's able to eat the papers and throw them up for him, but then when it comes to the detective who just killed people, he didn't do anything to like children. Like,
yeah, he did.
Able to eat the papers and throw them up for him. It kind of confused me.
Well, it was to allude that he was a much worse person, because I mean, ultimately he is. Like, yes, he did stuff in wartime, but it was stuff that on paper it's fucking bad. Like, you're blowing children up. Yeah, you're a fucking terrible human being.
Yeah.
And then he comes back and he's still continuing to kill people. Like, I mean, because I mean, at the end, he's the fucking murderer. So it makes sense. Oh wait, am I getting that wrong?
They're trying to say, right?
Well,
we know what a nonce is. They're a detestable example of a human being, and they're trying to basically make it that this guy's so much darker that what he, and it's not even what he did or what we're seeing so far. Because don't forget, movies they're limited. You know, everything's dialed down for a movie. That's why books are better, because at least the book can explore stuff. You're never going to see the full graphicness of what he's about. So that's why they had to use that scene to try and tell the audience this guy's much worse.
Well, it was part that, and the way that I took it when I initially watched it was the fact that he wasn't supposed to be there, and that's what caused that. That's why the I forget what he was called, but the guy that ate the paper and shit, that's why he ultimately ended up dying, was because he wasn't supposed to be there. Like, he wasn't supposed to be on trial. Like, it was just an accident, essentially, that he was there. That's how I took that part.
Once again, it was just so ham-fistedly done. That's why, because there's a premise of a good story here, but they're just so lazy and slapped together that we don't get the payoff. And these are things that don't cost money. Good ideas, good writing, that doesn't cost physical money.
Well, I mean, writing should, and that's part of the reason why we keep getting the strikes.
Well, it's because they're a bunch of hacks that have infested Hollywood, and they're afraid that a chatbot can write better than them because they're shit. And if you're afraid a chatbot can write better than you, then you're not very good. And that's unfortunately, like I said, this whole thing. It's come to a point. And yeah, I have no sympathy for them because they're not entertaining me. So stuff them.
Yeah. All right. Well, should we get to the last movie now then?
Let's final one, the only one.
Let's manufacture some controversy because we're making a dud. Yeah, that works. And let's do it. The horror fans. Yeah, that works. This is such a dumb squad.
Funny. I didn't mind this one. I thought it was okay.
It was meh. That's the best I got. You know, and you can check out my review. I reviewed it as soon as I watched it. You know, meh. That's I'm not emotionally invested either way. It was just okay.
See, after watching some of these, it was like, all right, this isn't terrible. I like the idea that they tried to take a new take on it. The Cenobites were all right. I don't understand the pearls, but whatever. I can get past that, I guess.
The fact that they walk in, they get trapped, And like fucking, it's
That's
like playing
the
a
shit
board
that's
game.
weird.
It was like playing a board game.
Yeah,
right.
it's what
Okay.
it was.
Cenobites turn, roll a dice, and they move 4 squares. Okay, right. It's a protagonist turn. They move 6 squares.
Right.
Fucking
It's like I get that supposedly he figured out the magical shit to repel them, and that's why his mansion was encased like that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like these are otherworldly beings. They're interdimensional travelers. Like, come on, like I'm not seeing any magical spells. I'm just seeing some pretty iron, like some Art Deco iron shell. Like that shouldn't stop them.
Yeah, well, my issue with it wasn't with that. It was with the actual main configuration box itself. Like, when was it said that you could basically just wish whatever you wanted with it? When was it said that it could just pop out a switchblade whenever you want? You can just shank someone with it. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
See, I was okay with that because they set this up as outside of the franchise. Like, this is a separate movie. This is a reimagining. And when it comes to like reimaginings, you have to kind of forget everything else that you've seen because they're doing a different take on it.
And it was a lesser because it was explained so brilliantly in Hellraiser Hellbound about the desire. It's not the actual solving the puzzle, it's your desire to call the Cenobites. And then they just, anybody can do it. And you can, you basically get like they did it and Bloodlines. I had a robot open in the box, but it did, once again, they even did it better there because it wasn't the robot that came from. They're going after the merchant. So it was his desire, even though it's not the physical puzzle, and they've done it so well. Actually, even when shitty ones, at the fact that it's not pressing the certain buttons, it attunes to what you want, and if you want it, it'll open for you.
Yeah. Basically, it's a very, very stylish occult cell phone, and unless you want to dial the number right, it doesn't work. And with this, definitely,
they're just pissed all over it. Yeah, this is just threw that out the window. The most intriguing part, they decided, we don't need that, but the cheapest part too as well, like in terms of effects and budget. The cheapest part that just keep that in because that's important. Just throw it out the window.
Yeah, well, the thing which didn't make much sense to me was that, like, even in like the first movie, she gets to choose like someone like can go, or like in the second one, like does she choose someone to take her place? Someone does that somewhere in the franchise, but like in this one, they just take the random guy and just sort of like start to murder him. It was like her brother's boyfriend. They're like about to murder him. They're just like, wait, no. Take my boyfriend instead. Kill him. You know.
Yeah, that was the thing. Is it felt like towards the end, the Cenobites are just like, look, I don't give a fuck. Just we'll take whatever we can get.
Yeah.
And to have a Cenobite get caught by it, it's like that's fucking weird. That doesn't make any sense because it's like if it's supposed to be taking people, that's not a person. What the fuck? Like, of course, it shows at the end like the transformation of people into Cenobite, but still, it was the ending. It's like, oh fuck, we gotta end this. Let's fuck it. Let's just hurry up and rush it, and that's what it felt like. Like there was so much lead up to that with next to no payoff.
To me, they should have just stuck with Voight's journey. If they had just stuck with Voight's journey, that would have been fascinating enough. And then the next movie could have been about Hobo Girl. I hated her. She's fucking disgusting.
See, I didn't hate her, but it was like they couldn't quite decide whether you were supposed to like her or not like her.
And that's part of the reason I hate it, because it's another wooden block girl boss, pointless character who's just going to breeze through everything anyway and have no trial, whatever, no obstacles to overcome, just sort of be there, and everyone else is going to die around her, and I was just like I said, they had a chance to reinvigorate this franchise, and once again, they didn't bother. They just shot it out.
Yeah, I give them a C+ for effort. Like I didn't hate it. I'll probably end up rewatching it. There's definitely some of these that I'll never watch again because I don't want to. This one I would watch again. Like this would make for great background noise.
But that's not meant to be a Hellraiser movie.
No, of course not. I mean,
you stick 1 and 2 in. The thing you're invested. You're watching at the end, even if you've seen it 100 times. You're watching for 101, and you're invested. Hellraiser movies are not meant to be background noise.
No,
that's Friday the 13th. That's Halloween. That's Scream. If you're so inclined, that's Final Destination. You know what I mean? Because once you've watched them once, you're just plays in the background. That's those type of movies. It's not meant to be Hellraiser.
Final Destination.
I'm not insulting Destination.
No, dude, I fucking love the Final Destination franchise.
But once you've watched it, you know what I mean? Once you've watched it, you know what's coming.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
You stick it in the background, you know what I mean? And that's it. It's done its job.
Yeah, I don't care how many of those they make. I'm watching each one and enjoying it just as much as the last.
But that's those type of movies, and you understand what just because you understand what something is, and not everything's meant to be a thoughtful piece. Popcorn flicks are popcorn flicks for the reason. You enjoy them; they're fun. You just don't. You switch off. You have it play in the background once you've watched it the first time. You enjoy it. That's it. But Hellraiser's not that. It was never meant to be that. It was meant to be that next bit that you actually get invested in the lore, and they've pissed all over it. And they had a chance here with this movie to bring it back, to reinvigorate it, take it in a new direction, and they didn't. They just made another generic movie that is forgettable. And that's worse than making a bad one.
Fair.
When they've got the lessons of 10 movies to learn from.
I wouldn't say this is as bad as Hellworld or Deader.
No, definitely not.
No, but it's forgettable. That makes it even worse because they've had the examples of Deader and Hellworld, and they went with this.
See, I don't know. I would say because let's just ignore the first 4 like that. I mean, part of the reason why we're doing 2 separate shows is those are their own thing. That's the actual Clive Barker Hellraiser universe. So let's put those aside. I would still put this in the top 3 out of the other ones.
Yeah, out of that. Yeah, that's
like this is definitely top 3. Again, I would rewatch it. Like intentionally rewatch it, not just because it's on. A lot of the others, no. I especially Deader. Like Deader,
out of the second, but one in Judgment.
What's that?
This one and Judgment.
Judgment. Like those were good. Like I thoroughly enjoyed both of those. And honestly, like out of all of these, like just looking at the cover art, looking at the history, these were the Judgment and this one were the 2 that I was like, fuck, I don't want to watch these. And those are probably the most palatable out of all of these from 5 on.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for coming on the channel to talk about all of these amazing movies. But yeah,
that's a word. That's the been an experience.
Thank you for coming on. Until next time, don't watch Hellraiser 5 onwards.